Tom was a rancher who lived far from the busy town. His land was wide but dry, and every day felt like a quiet test of patience. He woke up before sunrise, checked the fences, fed his animals, and worked until his back felt stiff. Life was not easy for him, but he accepted it without complaint. He believed that honest work and kind choices were the only things that truly mattered. That morning, Tom planned a simple trip. He needed animal feed and a few tools, nothing more. He drove his old truck toward the auction yard on the edge of town. The place was noisy and dusty, filled with people talking loudly and animals moving nervously. Tom usually avoided this place, but it was the cheapest option for supplies. After buying what he needed, Tom walked back to his truck. As he passed behind the main building, he noticed a small fenced area. It was quieter there, but the feeling was heavy. Inside the fence stood several animals that looked tired and thin. Tom knew what this area was for, and his heart sank. He tried to keep walking, but then he saw the horse. The horse stood slightly apart from the others. It was brown with a white mark on its face. Its ribs showed, and its coat looked dull, but it stood strong on its legs. What caught Tom's attention were the horse's eyes. They were calm, steady, and aware. There was no panic in them, only a deep, tired patience. Tom stopped moving. He told himself that he had no reason to get involved. He did not have extra money. He did not have extra space. One horse could become a burden instead of a blessing. Still, his feet carried him closer to the fence. The horse noticed him right away. It lifted its head and looked straight at Tom. They stood there for a moment, watching each other. The noise of the auction yard seemed to fade. Tom felt something tighten in his chest. A worker walked over and asked if Tom was interested. His voice was flat and bored. Tom asked about the horse. The worker said it was old and unwanted. No one knew much else. It would be sold quickly, no questions asked. Tom asked the price. $200. The number hit him hard. That was money he had saved slowly, dollar by dollar. He needed it for repairs on his ranch. His water pump was weak, and winter was coming. Spending that money on a horse made no sense. Tom stepped back and took a deep breath. He reminded himself that he was only one man. He could not save every animal. He turned to leave. Before he could take more than 2 steps, the horse made a soft sound. Tom turned back. The horse had moved closer to the fence and lowered its head slightly. It was not begging. It was simply there. Tom walked back and reached out his hand through the fence. The horse stepped forward and gently touched his fingers with its nose. The touch was warm and careful. In that moment, Tom felt a strong sense of connection, as if the horse trusted him without knowing why. That was the moment Tom stopped fighting his own heart. He reached into his wallet and counted the money. His hands trembled, but his decision felt clear. He paid the worker, who seemed surprised but did not ask questions. The gate was opened, and a rope was placed in Tom's hands. The horse followed Tom without pulling or fear. It walked calmly beside him, as if it had done this many times before. Tom loaded the horse into his trailer and closed the door. He leaned against the truck for a moment, feeling both scared and relieved. As he started the engine and drove away, dust rose behind the truck. Tom glanced into the mirror. The horse stood steady, balanced, and quiet. It did not panic or move around. It simply watched the road ahead. During the drive back to the ranch, Tom's mind filled with questions. Why had this horse been sent away? Who had owned it before? Was it truly old, or was there something more to its story? Tom felt a strange pull in his chest, a feeling that this decision mattered more than he understood. When they reached the ranch, the sun was beginning to set. Tom unloaded the horse and led it into a small clean pen. He gave it water and hay, then stepped back to watch. The horse ate slowly, carefully, like it was used to being careful. Tom noticed something then. The horse's movements were smooth and trained. This was not a wild or careless animal. This horse had known work, care, and discipline. Tom felt a growing sense of curiosity. As night fell, Tom stood quietly by the fence. He felt tired, but also alert in a way he had not felt in years. Saving this horse had already changed the mood of his lonely ranch. He did not know it yet, but the horse he saved that day carried a past that would soon come to light. And when it did, nothing in Tom's life would ever be the same. The next morning, Tom woke up earlier than usual. The ranch was quiet, except for the soft sound of the horse moving in its pen. Tom stepped outside, feeling the cool morning air. He walked to the horse, who lifted its head and looked at him with calm, intelligent eyes. The bond from the day before felt stronger now, and Tom realized that this horse was unlike any he had ever seen. Tom decided to let the horse roam a little. He opened the gate of the pen, and the horse walked out slowly, sniffing the grass and examining its surroundings. Tom watched carefully, making sure the horse did not run or panic. The animal moved gracefully, confident but cautious. Tom could not help but admire its posture and balance. There was a quiet strength in every step. While the horse explored, Tom remembered that he had to check the nearby barn for supplies. He grabbed a bucket of feed and returned to the pen. The horse followed him, keeping a safe distance but clearly aware of his presence. Tom set the feed on the ground, and the horse began to eat. It was careful, eating slowly, as if savoring each bite. Tom realized that the horse had likely been neglected for some time, but it had not lost its intelligence or dignity. After the morning chores, Tom decided to try brushing the horse. He took a soft brush and approached slowly. The horse lifted its head, watching him carefully. When Tom reached its side, the horse did not move away. It allowed him to brush its coat, and a small shiver ran along its body as the brush passed. Tom smiled. He had handled many horses before, but this one was special. It seemed to understand him, and he felt the same about it. Tom spent the day doing small tasks while keeping an eye on the horse. He noticed small details that others might miss. Its hooves were strong, even though it had not been cared for properly. Its eyes were clear and alert. Its muscles were lean but powerful. Tom realized that someone had trained this horse well in the past. It was not just any horse from a kill pen. By late afternoon, Tom decided to take the horse for a short walk. He attached a simple rope to its halter and led it slowly around the fields. The horse followed without hesitation. It walked calmly beside him, responding to gentle tugs on the rope. Tom felt a mix of pride and curiosity. He could not understand why a horse like this had ended up in such a place. As they returned to the ranch, Tom noticed something unusual. The horse seemed to hesitate near a small hill at the edge of the property. Its ears twitched, and its nostrils flared slightly. Tom stopped and looked where the horse was staring. On the hill, there were faint tracks, deep and wide, as if made by large animals. Tom's heart quickened. Could these tracks be from wild animals nearby? Or had someone been there recently? The horse turned its head and looked at Tom again. There was a strange intensity in its eyes, a silent message that Tom could not ignore. He decided to inspect the tracks the next morning. For now, he returned the horse to its pen and made sure it had water and fresh hay. The sun was setting, painting the sky with orange and pink colors. Tom stood for a while, watching the horse eat quietly. That night, Tom could not sleep well. Thoughts of the horse filled his mind. Why had it been abandoned? Who had owned it? The horse seemed healthy and trained, yet it had been sent to a place where it might have been killed. Something did not add up. Tom resolved to learn more about the horse's past. The following day, Tom started early. He led the horse back to the hill where the tracks were. He examined them carefully. They were deep and fresh. Tom noticed that they were not made by wild animals, but by something larger, heavier than a human or horse. He frowned, unsure what to make of them. The horse stood beside him, calm but alert, as if it understood that something important was nearby. Tom followed the tracks for a short distance. They led to a small clearing surrounded by trees. In the middle of the clearing, there was a strange object partially hidden under leaves. Tom approached carefully. It was a small, worn chest, old but strong. He looked at the horse, which was watching him closely. With a careful hand, Tom opened the chest. Inside were several old items, a saddle, some ropes, and a small bundle of papers tied with a string. Tom carefully took the papers out. They were written in neat handwriting and seemed to tell a story. The first page mentioned the horse by name and described its abilities. The horse was trained for long journeys, could respond to gentle commands, and had been part of a family that loved it dearly. Tom felt a lump in his throat. The papers also contained a warning. They spoke of people who wanted the horse for the wrong reasons. They described how the horse had to be hidden to keep it safe. Tom realized that this was not just any horse. It had a history, a family, and perhaps enemies who wanted it gone. The horse nudged Tom gently with its nose. It was as if it was telling him to keep reading and keep it safe. Tom nodded. He felt a deep responsibility. He could not let this horse be lost or taken again. He decided to take the chest and the horse back to the ranch. The horse followed obediently, as if it understood that it was returning home for good. Back at the ranch, Tom carefully placed the chest in his barn. He fed the horse and cleaned its pen. As he worked, he kept thinking about the papers. The horse's calm behavior, its intelligence, and its training all made sense now. This horse had a past filled with care, and someone had gone to great lengths to protect it. Over the next few days, Tom studied the papers. They told him about the horse's original owner, a kind woman who had treated the horse like family. The papers mentioned adventures, travel, and lessons taught to the horse. Tom began to understand the horse better. It was loyal, brave, and patient, qualities that had been carefully nurtured over the years. Tom also noticed that the horse had unusual instincts. It seemed to sense danger before it happened. If something approached the ranch unexpectedly, the horse would shift its stance and watch carefully. Tom realized that the horse had been trained not just for riding but also for protection. It was more than a companion, it was a guardian. The bond between Tom and the horse grew stronger each day. Tom gave it a simple name, calling it Brave, because of the courage it had shown simply by surviving and staying calm despite everything it had faced. Brave followed Tom everywhere on the ranch. When Tom worked, Brave stayed nearby. When Tom rested, Brave would stand quietly, watching over him. Tom started to feel hope again, a feeling he had not experienced in a long time. The horse brought a new energy to the ranch. It reminded him that life could be full of surprises, and that even small acts of kindness could change everything. Tom knew that saving Brave was not just about money or a moment of choice. It was about making the right decision and seeing it grow into something extraordinary. By the end of the week, Tom and Brave had settled into a routine. Tom fed, groomed, and cared for Brave, while Brave gave companionship, loyalty, and a quiet strength that Tom had not known he needed. The ranch felt alive in a new way, filled with the promise of discoveries yet to come. Little did Tom know, Brave's past held secrets far beyond the chest of papers. The story of this horse was not finished. It had only just begun, and the journey that awaited them both would change their lives forever. Brave had survived the kill pen, but the real adventure, the one that would reveal courage, loyalty, and the true bond between human and horse, was just beginning. Days passed, and the bond between Tom and Brave grew stronger with each sunrise. Tom had begun to notice something remarkable. Brave seemed to understand more than a regular horse. When Tom walked near the fence, Brave would follow without being led. When he went to check the water trough, Brave would trot along the path, stopping only when Tom stopped. Tom realized that this horse was unusually intelligent and aware. One morning, as the sun rose over the ranch, Tom decided to ride Brave for the first time. He had prepared a saddle from the chest of old items he had found in the clearing. The saddle was worn but well made, with strong straps and careful stitching. Tom approached Brave slowly, speaking in a calm voice. Brave lifted his head and watched, moving only when Tom motioned him to. Tom felt a sense of excitement and nervousness. He had ridden many horses before, but this felt different. Tom climbed onto Brave's back carefully. The horse shifted slightly under his weight, but remained calm. They walked slowly around the pen, then toward the open fields. Tom felt a surprising sense of balance and trust. Brave responded to small movements, adjusting his pace with ease. Tom laughed quietly, amazed at how natural the ride felt. Brave was not just strong, he was graceful and intelligent. As they moved further into the fields, Tom noticed something in the distance. A thin trail of smoke rose near the edge of the nearby forest. Tom frowned. There were no houses or fires expected in this area. He guided Brave toward it carefully, watching the horse's reactions. Brave's ears twitched, and his steps became measured. It was as if he sensed danger, or at least something unusual. When they reached the edge of the forest, Tom saw a small campfire with a few empty tents around it. The fire had burned low, and the area looked abandoned, but there were fresh footprints in the dirt. Tom felt a shiver. Who could have been here? The papers in the chest had warned of people who wanted Brave for the wrong reasons. Could they have returned? Brave stepped closer to Tom, nudging him gently as if to say, "Be careful." Tom took a deep breath and decided to investigate. He followed the footprints toward the forest edge. The tracks led to a small creek, where he saw signs of recent movement, broken branches and disturbed soil. Tom's mind raced. He had no weapons and no help. He had only Brave, and Brave was alert, watching everything carefully. Suddenly, a rustling sound came from the bushes. Tom froze. Brave lowered his head slightly and let out a soft snort. The rustling grew louder, and a figure appeared. It was a young man, tired and dusty, holding a bundle of cloth in his hands. He looked frightened but relieved when he saw Tom. Tom stepped forward cautiously. "Who are you?" he asked. The young man raised his hands. "My name is Alex," he said. "I was following clues about the horse. I thought it was lost, but I see you found it." Tom's brow furrowed. "Following clues? Why? What do you mean?" Alex took a deep breath. "This horse, Brave, is very special. It comes from a family that protected him for years. There are people who want him for their own gain. I was sent to make sure he was safe." Tom's heart pounded. The papers in the chest had warned of danger, but he had never imagined it would be real. Brave shifted slightly under Tom, his ears forward. It was clear he recognized Alex, or at least sensed he meant no harm. Tom asked, "Why didn't you come sooner?" Alex shook his head. "I only discovered the trail a few days ago. I was too late to stop the auction, but I tracked the horse here. I was worried someone might have taken him." Tom looked at Brave. The horse stood quietly, alert but calm. Tom realized that he had made the right choice by saving Brave. If he had hesitated, the horse could have been gone. He felt pride and relief mixed with unease. There was still danger nearby. Alex explained further. Brave was not an ordinary horse. In the past, he had been part of journeys across forests and mountains, carrying messages and supplies for people who trusted him. His intelligence and strength made him valuable, and some people wanted to capture him for their own purposes. Brave had been hidden to keep him safe, but now he had been exposed to the world again. Tom listened carefully, feeling a mixture of fear and responsibility. He had only meant to save a single animal, but now he realized the choice had consequences far beyond the ranch. He looked at Brave, whose eyes seemed to say, "We are ready." Tom nodded slowly. He knew they had to protect him, no matter what. Over the next few days, Tom and Alex worked together to prepare the ranch. They strengthened fences, cleared paths, and set up safe areas for Brave. Alex taught Tom ways to understand the horse better, explaining subtle signals and behaviors. Tom was amazed at how much the horse could communicate through posture, movements, and quiet sounds. It felt like Brave was part of their conversation, understanding every word without speaking. One evening, as the sun set, Alex told Tom a story from the past. Brave had belonged to a woman named Clara, who loved him dearly. She had trained him for difficult journeys and had relied on him in dangerous situations. Clara had been forced to hide him when threats appeared, leaving notes and instructions in secret locations. Brave had survived many challenges, showing courage and intelligence beyond that of most animals. Tom felt a deep respect for the horse. He realized that the auction had been only a small part of Brave's journey. This was a horse who had faced danger, survived, and still trusted humans. Tom felt a responsibility to honor that trust. He promised himself that he would protect Brave, no matter the cost. The following morning, Tom rode Brave toward the forest again. Alex followed on foot, carrying supplies. They checked the area for signs of danger and looked for clues that could lead to more information about those who had threatened the horse. Brave led the way confidently, moving with purpose. Tom marveled at his skill and intelligence. It was clear that Brave had a natural ability to sense danger and find safe paths. As they reached a hidden glade, Brave paused. His ears twitched, and he looked back at Tom. Alex whispered, "He senses something. Be ready." Tom nodded. The forest was quiet, but the feeling of tension was strong. They moved slowly, careful not to disturb the area. Brave stepped lightly, guiding them to a small clearing where a hidden cache of supplies was stored long ago. Inside the cache were more papers, tools, and blankets. The papers contained messages from Clara, instructions for keeping Brave safe, and warnings about those who wanted to capture him. Tom realized that Brave had been protected for a reason, and the responsibility to continue that protection now rested on him. Tom and Alex carefully collected the supplies and returned to the ranch. Brave followed calmly, as if satisfied that the mission had been successful. Tom felt a deep sense of pride and connection. This horse was no longer just an animal. He was a partner, a guide, and a protector. That night, as the ranch grew quiet under the stars, Tom sat by the pen and watched Brave eat. He thought about the journey ahead, the challenges they might face, and the bond they had formed. He felt ready for whatever was coming. Brave had survived danger, and now together, they would face the future with courage and trust. The story of the horse was far from over, but Tom knew one thing for certain. Saving Brave had not just changed the horse's life, it had changed his own. The quiet ranch now held a new energy, a sense of purpose, and the promise of adventures yet to come. The next morning, Tom woke early, as usual, but this day felt different. There was a sense of anticipation in the air. Brave moved quietly in his pen, watching Tom carefully. Tom fed him and gave him fresh water. The horse seemed alert and energetic, almost as if he knew that something important was about to happen. Tom wondered what the day would bring, but he felt ready. Alex arrived soon after sunrise. He carried a small pack with tools, food, and some maps. Tom greeted him and together they planned the day. Alex explained that they needed to check the northern boundary of the ranch. There had been rumors of people searching for Brave. They had to make sure the land was safe and that there were no traces of intruders. Tom nodded. He trusted Alex, and he trusted Brave, who now seemed more than just a horse. They saddled Brave carefully, checking the straps and ropes. Brave stood calmly, as if understanding the importance of the task. Tom climbed onto his back, feeling a mixture of excitement and concern. Alex followed on foot, keeping a careful distance. The morning sun was warm, and the ranch was quiet except for the soft sound of Brave's hooves on the dirt path. As they moved toward the northern boundary, Tom noticed Brave's alert posture. The horse's ears twitched in different directions, and his head moved slowly, scanning the area. Alex whispered, "He senses something unusual. Stay alert." Tom tightened his grip on the reins and followed Brave's lead. It felt as if the horse knew the path better than any map or directions could show. They reached a part of the ranch that was overgrown with tall grass and wildflowers. It was beautiful, but it also hid shadows and hidden spaces. Brave slowed his pace, sniffing the air. Tom followed closely, careful not to startle him. Suddenly, Brave stopped completely. He lowered his head slightly and stared toward a cluster of trees ahead. Tom could feel his heart beat faster. Something was there. A soft movement came from the trees. Tom squinted, trying to see. A figure stepped out cautiously. It was a young woman, carrying a small bundle in her arms. She looked tired and worried, but when she saw Brave, she stopped. Brave whinnied softly, taking a few steps toward her. The woman smiled faintly, tears forming in her eyes. Tom and Alex approached slowly. "Who are you?" Tom asked gently. The woman lowered her head and said, "My name is Lily. I was sent to find Brave. He belongs to my family, and we were worried. I followed the notes left by Clara." Tom's mind raced. This was the first living person connected to the horse's past that he had met. He felt a mix of relief and curiosity. Lily explained her story. She had grown up with Clara and had helped care for Brave. When Clara had to hide the horse from dangerous people, she had left instructions and messages. Lily had been traveling ever since, following every clue to ensure Brave's safety. Her journey had been long and tiring, but seeing Brave alive filled her with hope. Brave stepped closer to Lily, nuzzling her gently. It was clear that he remembered her. Tom watched the reunion quietly. He felt a deep sense of satisfaction and pride. Saving Brave had brought more than a horse into his life. It had brought a connection to a story full of care, loyalty, and love. He realized that the ranch had changed in a way he could not have imagined. Brave was no longer just an animal in need, he was part of a larger story. After a short rest, Tom, Alex, Lily, and Brave began moving through the northern fields. Lily shared more stories about Brave's past. He had carried messages, supplies, and sometimes even people through dangerous terrain. He had been brave in every sense of the word, and his intelligence had saved lives on more than one occasion. Tom was amazed at how much history a single horse could carry. As they walked, Brave seemed to lead the way intentionally. He paused at small clearings, sniffed the ground, and then moved forward confidently. Tom realized that Brave's instincts were unmatched. The horse was not only strong and intelligent, he was aware of the land, the paths, and any signs of danger. Tom felt grateful that he had listened to his heart when he decided to save him from the kill pen. Later in the day, they reached a part of the ranch bordered by dense trees and rocks. Brave stopped suddenly, his body tense. Tom followed his gaze and saw a faint trail leading into the forest. Alex whispered, "That trail is not natural. Someone has passed here recently." Tom's heart quickened. They had to be careful. Brave lowered his head and moved slowly toward the trail. His steps were careful and precise, guiding them through the forest without alerting anyone who might be nearby. The trail led them to a small clearing where they found a hidden camp. It was empty, but signs showed that it had been used very recently. There were footprints, broken branches, and small tools left behind. Tom felt a chill. They were not alone in searching for Brave. Lily's eyes widened in recognition. These are the people who wanted to capture him. They are close. Brave sniffed the air and whinnied softly, as if confirming Lily's words. Tom realized that the responsibility he had taken on was far greater than he had imagined. Saving Brave from the auction was only the beginning. Protecting him from these people would require courage, planning, and trust. Tom felt a surge of determination. He would not let Brave be taken, not now, not ever. They returned to the ranch carefully, keeping the path hidden. Brave followed the familiar trail, alert and confident. Tom could feel the strength of the horse beneath him. It was clear that Brave was ready for anything. Alex and Lily walked beside him, carrying supplies and keeping watch. The sun was setting as they reached the ranch, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. Back at the ranch, Tom and Alex prepared new defenses. They strengthened the fences, cleared hidden paths, and created safe areas where Brave could move freely. Lily shared more details about the people who wanted to capture the horse, warning them to stay vigilant. Tom felt a mix of anxiety and hope. They had to be ready, but with Brave leading them, he knew they had a chance. That night, Tom sat by the pen and watched Brave rest. The horse's calm presence filled the ranch with a sense of security. Tom realized that saving Brave had given him more than a companion, it had given him purpose. He thought about the journey ahead, the challenges they would face, and the bond that now connected him, Brave, Alex, and Lily. As he looked at the stars above, Tom understood something important. Brave's past, full of adventure and danger, had led him here for a reason. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. The quiet ranch had become a place of courage, loyalty, and hope. Brave was no longer just a horse, he was a symbol of strength and trust, and Tom felt proud to call him his own. The adventure was far from over. The challenges were only beginning. But Tom, Brave, Alex, and Lily were ready to face them together. They had survived danger, uncovered secrets, and built a bond that would carry them through whatever came next. And as Brave rested quietly in the pen, Tom knew that this was only the beginning of a journey that would change their lives forever. The next morning, the ranch was quiet but filled with purpose. Tom woke early, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. Brave was already awake, standing in his pen and watching the horizon. His ears twitched at every sound, his eyes alert. Tom approached him slowly, and Brave nuzzled his hand, as if reminding him that together they were ready for whatever might come. Alex and Lily joined Tom outside. The three of them had spent days preparing the ranch, reinforcing fences, clearing hidden paths, and setting traps to alert them to any intruders. They had learned from the clues and papers that those who had wanted Brave before might return. Tom knew that they had to remain calm and focused. Brave's instincts would guide them, but they had to work together. After breakfast, Tom saddled Brave. The horse stood patiently, his calm and confident presence reassuring everyone. Lily prepared some supplies, and Alex checked the surrounding areas for signs of danger. Together, they rode out toward the northern hills. Brave led the way, choosing paths with care, his hooves moving silently over rocks and grass. Tom felt the horse's strength and intelligence guiding him, making him aware of every sound and movement in the wild landscape. As they reached a ridge, Brave suddenly stopped. His ears pricked forward, and his body tensed. Tom looked ahead and saw movement among the trees. Shadows shifted quickly, and he realized that they were being watched. Alex whispered, "Stay calm. Brave senses them too. Be ready." Tom tightened his grip on the reins. Brave stepped forward slowly, leading them closer, revealing a group of strangers hiding behind the trees. Tom, Alex, and Lily held their ground. Brave lowered his head slightly, letting out a soft whinny that sounded both warning and challenge. The strangers froze, clearly surprised by the horse's presence. They had come to capture Brave, but they had not expected him to be alert, confident, and strong. Brave's stance made them think twice. His calm courage was like a shield protecting everyone around him. The strangers retreated slowly, realizing that taking Brave would not be simple. Tom and his companions stayed quiet, watching until the threat disappeared into the forest. Brave's ears flicked, scanning the area until he was certain it was safe. Tom patted Brave's neck, feeling a surge of pride. The horse had protected them without fear, showing loyalty and courage beyond measure. Returning to the ranch, Tom realized how much Brave had changed his life. This horse was no longer just an animal he had rescued. Brave had become a partner, a guide, and a protector. Alex and Lily shared the same feeling, understanding that the horse's instincts and intelligence had saved them all. Tom knew that their bond was stronger than any words could describe. That afternoon, Tom decided to explore the property with Brave and Lily. He wanted to understand more about the land and discover safe areas where Brave could roam freely. Brave led them through hidden trails, small forests, and wide open fields. His movements were precise and thoughtful, as if he knew every corner of the ranch instinctively. Tom followed closely, realizing that the horse's knowledge of the land was a gift. As they moved deeper into the property, they discovered a small, hidden stream. The water was clear, and the area was shaded by trees. Brave approached the stream cautiously, sniffing the air before drinking. Tom smiled, watching the horse relax. It was a peaceful moment, and he realized that this place could become a safe haven for Brave, away from anyone who might want to harm him. Lily collected water for the group, and Alex examined the surrounding area for any signs of danger. They decided to make this stream area a safe retreat for Brave. They cleared the paths, built a small shelter, and marked hidden trails so they could move quickly if needed. Brave followed every action carefully, showing interest but also caution. Tom felt a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing that the horse now had a secure place on the ranch. That evening, Tom sat by the fire with Brave resting nearby. Alex and Lily joined him, sharing stories and plans for the future. They talked about how to protect the ranch, care for Brave, and ensure that the horse would never face danger alone again. Brave lay quietly, his head resting near Tom's feet, his eyes half closed but still alert. Tom felt a profound connection, understanding that this horse had changed his life completely. Days turned into weeks, and life on the ranch became filled with routine, adventure, and discovery. Brave continued to show his intelligence and loyalty, always alert and protective. Tom found himself relying on Brave's instincts as much as his own knowledge. Lily helped care for the horse, sharing her knowledge of his past, while Alex stayed close, offering guidance and support. Together, they became a team. One morning, a visitor arrived at the ranch. It was an older woman with kind eyes and a warm smile. She introduced herself as Clara's sister. She had come to see Brave and to thank Tom for saving him. She explained how important Brave had been to Clara and how much he had meant to their family. Tom felt humbled. He realized that saving Brave was not just about rescuing a horse, it was about preserving a story, a bond, and a legacy. Brave recognized Clara's sister immediately. He stepped forward, whinnying softly, and nuzzled her hand. The reunion was quiet but full of emotion. Tom watched, feeling proud and grateful. He understood that the horse's life had purpose, and now it was intertwined with his own. Brave had brought new meaning to the ranch, to the people around him, and to the life he led. As the days passed, Tom, Alex, Lily, and Brave worked together to make the ranch stronger, safer, and more welcoming. They built new fences, cleared fields, and explored hidden areas. Brave continued to lead them, guiding with intelligence, caution, and courage. Every day, Tom felt more confident that he had made the right choice by saving this horse. Brave had not only survived, he had thrived. One evening, Tom sat by the fire again, looking at Brave grazing nearby. The horse's calm presence filled the air with peace. Tom reflected on everything that had happened, from the day he bought Brave at the auction to the discoveries about his past and the threats they had faced. He realized that saving Brave had changed everything in his life. It had brought friendship, adventure, purpose, and a bond that could not be broken. Brave came closer, nudging Tom gently. Tom smiled and patted his neck. He whispered, "We made it, Brave. We are safe now." The horse whinnied softly, as if agreeing. Tom felt a warmth in his heart. This was more than a horse. Brave was family, a guardian, and a friend who had changed his life forever. The ranch had grown quieter, filled with trust and courage. Tom knew that challenges might come again, but he also knew that with Brave, Alex, and Lily by his side, they could face anything. The bond between them was strong, built on loyalty, care, and courage. Brave had survived the kill pen, faced danger, and now thrived in a place of safety and love. Tom watched the sunset, feeling grateful. He understood that one act of kindness, paying $200 to save a horse, had created a journey filled with discovery, adventure, and deep connection. Brave had taught him about trust, bravery, and the importance of doing the right thing, no matter the cost. Tom smiled, knowing that the story was complete for now, but that the bond they shared would last a lifetime. The horse he had saved from the auction had changed his life forever. Brave had not just survived, he had transformed a quiet rancher's world into one filled with courage, love, and hope. Together, they faced the future, ready for whatever might come, with trust in each other and a heart full of gratitude. Tom knew, without a doubt, that saving Brave had been the most important decision of his life. And as the stars appeared in the sky above the ranch, Brave stood nearby, calm and proud, a symbol of survival, loyalty, and the power of kindness. The story had begun with a simple choice, but it ended with a life forever changed, a bond forever strong, and a journey that would be remembered for years to come.